Hi guys, present you a new game called Nobles Life Kingdom Reborn. In short, the action takes place to the time of the Hundred Years' War between France and England. The player will manage his own estate with a castle, an army and peasants. Steam recently started registering for the first closed tests of the game. Release is planned only for 2024. Within their framework, the developers will show an initial excerpt from an early version of the game, which is expected to demonstrate the dramatic beginning of the whole story. This game has tags such as medieval, simulator and building. The Steam gives such description, I quote, "Realistic medieval noble simulator and at the same time a strategy game with a historical depth. Manage your city and villages and make decisions in non-linear events. Command defenses in epic sieges and organize dangerous raids. Fire in the villages and cities in the south of France haven't yet extinguished, and big English armies are already wreaking havoc in the north. War spreads over new territories, more countries are involved in the conflict. Britain is plunging into a civil war, and high war taxes are pushing peasants into revolts. The power of the Church has also been broken. It is fought by simony, nepotism and heresies. Meanwhile, the Pope remains in Avignon's captivity. To make matters worse, the first rumors of a mysterious epidemic that will soon be known as a Black Death reach Europe. In the certain times of the Hundred Years' War, you play as a noble who goes to war at the behest of his king, for which your enemies repay by devastating your estate. In this unique combination of simulator and strategy game, you'll get a chance to lead the rebuilding of a city, the center of your lands, and restore the power in your family's villages. To do this, you will have to make hundreds of decisions and find your ruling style. You play the role of a single nobleman, not an omnipotent entity with control over each subject. Therefore, control your estates by imposing or lowering taxes, organizing military conscription among the population, employing specialists financing various projects, settling disputes, negotiating with various factions or local magnates. Increase your prestige by organizing balls, festivals or tournaments. You can also fill the treasury with stolen goods by doing raids, but then your city should be prepared for the possible revenge of your enemies. You have the option to both take care of everything yourself, as well as commission some tasks to unemployable advisors. On the other hand, under the layer of negotiations, elections, orders and diplomatic correspondence, you will find an extensive economic system giving you many different paths to expand your lands. Decide, what kind of ruler do you want to be? Each path will give you access to different types of investments, units, diplomatic options and ways to deal with the problems. A battle-hardened raider with the support of the Church, a skillful diplomat with allies, a wealthy enterprising aristocrat who can afford mercenaries, an optimist ruler, a mad-sadist magnate, a carefree swagger are just some of the paths to follow. Nothing prevents you from combining several of them. Find your ruling style. There is a war going on, so the enemy will come to your gates sooner or later. May you be ready. Order recruits to train, turning them into loyal soldiers, pay for the construction of defense machines, invest in fortifications and prepare a detailed plan to defend the city. Additionally, when the enemy approaches the city and prepares to conquer it by attacking the walls, you personally manage the defense. Height, high walls, siege machines, skillful use of units and the right strategy will allow you to survive, even when the enemy overwhelms you with the numbers. Gather and equip mounted warriors and lead them to plunder enemy lands, harass the vanguard of a larger army, suppress a rebellion or defend your lands. Remember that you have to act quickly and that you contain sometimes unexpectedly great forces. Then, pay attention to the terrain and weather, as well as the equipment of the defenders. There is nothing worse than driving uphill under the fire of the archers on top. We focus on historical accuracy being unspread by the most interesting events of the period. The goal is to reflect the realities of the medieval city and the challenges faced by aristocrats. All this so you can feel the atmosphere by playing the ruler you have created. In addition, the main plot of the game is closely related to one of the most interesting and the longest ever military conflict in Europe, the Hundred Years' War. Feel what it's like to rule real people and face challenges never seen in strategy games. Fight diseases, negotiate with parties that have their own interests. Take care of the loyalty of commanders, but also settle or not conflicts and problems of ordinary subjects. Rule your lands wisely or brutally crush in manifestations of rebellion or betrayal. Find your ruling style. The developers describe the content like this, I quote: "This game is set in the Middle Ages, where the player takes on the role of a noble. The player engages in raids and sieges, where people and horses can die of the weapons from the era. The game shows blood effects and death animations. Player's character can consume beer and wine. Text from the game contain moderately vulgar languages and archaic phrases such as bastard, bloody hell, sard, etc. And now a little about the system requirements. You need at least i5-8400 processor and 8 GB of memory. In category like this, there are next games: Reborn, Mountain Blade 2, Bannerlord. And that's all we have for you today. Like this video and subscribe. Bye, see you in our next video.